Hi there, Tassos here. December 31st, the last day of the year, and we are still here. We are fighting against all the odds. And you might thinking that maybe everything is going wrong, or the economy is collapsing, companies are closing down, people losing their jobs. But I can assure you that that's not the case at all. It's just a period where we are transitioning into a new and golden economic era. And as you can see, it's a beautiful and sunny day. Let me show you. And as it should be, and that's a sign that the new year will be brighter for all mankind. But before we discuss the year 2023, I believe we would want to review the year 2022 and its remarkable events. Because I believe it was a year like no other, one that humanity will remember for eternity. And that's not just a statement, that's exactly what it happened for all of us. We've never experienced a year like this with so many changes that affected every aspect of our lives. And so let's do a 2022 recap. Let's discuss business, marketing, the economy, and the major moves in the political sphere. And we'll also try to forecast the consequences of the year 2022 events for our society in the very near future. And at the end of the video, we'll expand upon the news regarding my marketing methodology, the 7 ideals, as we are getting closer to opening up the beta group for brands that want to test drive the method and become early adopters. And that comes with a set of huge benefits. So let's do a 2022 recap and let's see what the future brings. First, let me wish you a happy new year, a prosperous and healthy 2023. And now let's do a 2022 recap and let's examine this year's remarkable events. During the first days of January, there were rumors that the new quantum financial system that's in the works for many years now was actually activated, and that Zimbabwe and Iraq were the two first countries applying this process, a process meant to be copied by other countries after the completion of the process in these two mentioned countries. And this actually happened. Zimbabwe and Iraq completed the transition, and now new countries are applying this process. And these rumors, I believe, were true because we've seen a series of actions from all the countries in the world in 2022 pointing to this direction. We've seen countries, for example, backing up their currencies with gold and buying gold at an unprecedented rates. And this happened because one of the requirements for an economy to enter the quantum financial system is to back the currency by gold and precious metals. So let's discuss a few words about the quantum financial system. How does it work? QFS is frequently stored and operated on quantum computing based satellite servers due to the fact that QC is more secure and sophisticated due to its progressive style. Quantum computing combines two or more quantum states to produce another state by shooting electrons through semiconductors with a programmable pulse of light, resulting in the fastest level of speed. This is why quantum computers can store far more information and perform much faster than current generation computers. A QFS will typically issue a digital number to every dollar, euro, or yen located in every bank account throughout the world, and then monitor it in real time. The physical GPS position between transmitter and receiver will be configured to guarantee impenetrable security. This means you'll know precisely where it went, when it was transferred, and who provided it with your login details and which account got it. The QFS AI will monitor fluctuation and regulate all boundary conditions. This implies that until the highest degree of permission is provided, only AI algorithms will be able to govern the global financial network. Only gold-backed currencies with a digital gold certificate can participate in QFS transactions. A serial number will be assigned to the gold certificate as a reference to a piece of gold kept in reserve to back the currency. It's impossible for it to be stolen or removed from the safe vaults where it is kept. This is where the term gold-backed currency originates from. It must relate to a piece of gold in the vault that is supporting it. Asset-backed currencies are those that are founded on assets inside the nation of origin. These assets are regarded as a rationale for determining the quantity of currency accessible in a country, but all denominations of currency must be put into the QFS and granted a gold certificate in order to be active within the QFS. If the assets are mined or removed from the ground, they will be traded on the market in the same way that any other commodity is. And so we understand that our lives are going to change, the way we do business, the way we do perform banking actions, and the way we make transactions is going to change, and other things are going to change. Corruption is going away, and other negative issues associated with our economy are going away. Many problems will be solved, and the quantum financial system will actually help nations get free of debt and proceed to a brighter future. So, and another thing that I remembered just now, a proof that the quantum financial system is actually in play, is the fact that in my country, in April, it was announced that my country paid off its debt to the International Monetary Fund amidst an economic recession that started 14 years ago in 2008, with our economy collapsing, with businesses shutting down, people getting left unemployed. My country was able to pay off this huge debt. And it was a fake debt, of course. But my question is how we were able to pay off this huge debt amidst an economic recession. And this debt was paid off because that's another requirement for any country to enter the quantum financial system. This country should have no debts to any other organization or any other country or any other business entity or anyone. No debts, that's another requirement. And so the debt was paid off by my country's gold reserves. And here is the thing, every country is wealthy, every country has gold reserves, and this is how countries paying off the debts to another country, and so we'll witness some huge changes, and people will be shocked when they discover the real value of their countries in gold and in notes. I believe very soon, in 2023 or in 2024. And so let's move forward. Let's see other events that are related to the new quantum financial system. For example, this article on Reuters, November 1st, 2022, London central banks bought a record 400 tons of gold worth around 20 billion in the third quarter of 2022, helping to lift global demand for the metal, the World Gold Council said on Tuesday. Another article, World Economic Forum, November 10, 2022. Central banks are buying gold. Central banks, this is the key word in this phrase. Demand for gold has risen by 28% this year, primarily driven by a flight towards safer assets amid soaring inflation, according to a new World Gold Council report. But it's not only about inflation, it's a requirement to enter the quantum financial system. A significant amount of this demand has come from central banks in recent months. Turkey was the biggest gold buyer in the third quarter, followed by Uzbekistan and India. Central banks globally have accumulated gold reserves this year at a pace never seen since 1967, when the US dollar was still backed by the precious metal. In 1971, Nixon removed the gold standard and the downfall had started. In the quarter ending September, demand for gold was up 28% year on year, reaching 1,100 tons, according to a new report. The demand for gold this year has been primarily driven by a flight towards safer assets amid soaring inflation. The world's gold reserves. Central banks are stocking up on gold. Why? Because they want to back their assets with precious metals, so they can enter the quantum financial system, the new system that will handle all the transactions in our lives. And this article, dated back in May 2020, proves that this process was started long before 2022. Countries went on a gold buying spree before coronavirus took hold. As you can see, they were buying up with gold way earlier than we thought. This is one platform that I believe it's going to stay with us. Ripple and XRP, utility for the new global economy, fast and green, the digital asset. XRP was built to be the most practical cryptocurrency for applications across the financial services space. So watch out for Ripple and XRP. And now let me show you XLM. The Stellar network, an open network for money, makes it easy to create, send and trade digital representations of all forms of money, dollars, pesos, Bitcoin, pretty much anything. It's a platform where you can make transactions, an open network for storing and moving money. This is the platform where all the corporations are using. Large enterprise companies and companies as small as single dev startups have chosen Stellar to move money and access new markets. CoinQuest, Circle, MoneyGram, Wonderhate, Securrency, ClickPesa, Satoshi Pay, Settle, see all projects. From wallets to fiat on-off ramps to games and applications, the Stellar ecosystem is growing every day. MoneyGram, Circle, CoinMe, all these project partners. Oh, this is the list. Let's see. Astrocore, Astrograph, Astrolink. All these companies are moving to the Stellar network. It's a network that is going to stay. So watch out, Stellar. What's the news? We also witnessed the rise of BRICS, this economic union with Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, and more countries joining and applying to join, like Algeria, Argentina, El Salvador and many other countries. And I have to tell you, all the countries in the world will join BRICS. In the end, it's inevitable, and the International Monetary Fund will go away. And there were so many economic scandals that we can't even count, like this list in Economic Times of India Times. Credit Suisse, Theranos, Toshiba, all these names, and there are way more. We've seen the first ATM of gold in India, the first ever yellow metal coins dispenser set up in Hyderabad. Details inside. The gold ATM dispenser dispenses gold coins weighing anywhere between 0.5 and 100 grams. Began operations on Saturday. They can store up to 5 kilograms of gold. A new golden era. We've seen big tech companies like Google, Facebook, and other companies paying big fines, and of course people are complaining for a lack of transparency. And let's see what happened in the stock market in 2022. As the author says, unless you were playing the short side, 2022 has been a very dismal year for investors across the board. Skyrocketing inflation, the highest in over 40 years, aggressively rising interest rates thanks to the Fed, have combined to drive share prices down in most sectors. January down, February down, March up, April down, May 0, June down, July up, August down, September down, October up. Performance by sector: energy plus, utilities minus, consumer staples minus, healthcare minus, industrial minus, financial minus, basic materials minus, consumer cyclical minus, real estate minus, technology minus, communication services minus. Stocks that made big moves: Occidental Petroleum plus 139, Meta Platforms minus 65, Align Technology minus 71, Amazon minus 42, Google minus 30, Microsoft minus 24. And the big crash is just around the corner. And we had to deal with another huge scandal, the FTX scandal in the cryptocurrency world. How the celebrity endorsed crypto giant collapsed into chaos. And Yahoo News has a timeline of what happened November 2. CoinDesk publishes a report that revealed Alameda Research, a sister company to FTX, had a balance sheet full of FTT, the cryptocurrency issued by FTX. November 6, Changpeng Zhao, the founder of Binance, said the cryptocurrency exchange would offload all of its remaining FTX tokens due to recent revelations that have come to light. FTT prices dropped as investors began to withdraw. November 8, Binance agrees to acquire FTX. November 9, Binance pulls out of its agreement to take over FTX. November 11, FTX files for bankruptcy. CEO and founder Sam Bankman-Fried, age 13, resigns. November 11, reports emerged that FTX transferred $10 billion to Alameda, its sister company, sparking concern about what source of access top leaders had to the company's finances. November 13, news organizations begin reporting that much of the money transferred out of FTX in its final hours has disappeared. November 14, multiple regulators reportedly begin looking into criminal liabilities around the company. The company was very big, and this is a huge scandal that affects all cryptocurrencies, and it's a sign that cryptocurrencies need to be regulated as well, and it's also a sign that dismantling of corruption is an ongoing process, and the majority of other cryptocurrencies will have a similar journey. We've seen a major scandal, the Qatar Gate, the Qatar corruption scandal at the European Parliament with Eva Kaili from my country, Vice President, and Antonio Panzeri. An ongoing political scandal in which it is alleged that politicians, political staffers, lobbyists, civil servants and their families have been involved in corruption, money laundering and organized crime involving the states of Qatar and Morocco in exchange for influence at the European Parliament. So we are witnessing politicians getting punished and getting their accounts and their assets frozen for the first time in history. We've seen the Pegasus scandal and so many politicians getting spied, and members of the royal family, journalists, activists, and of course people, but we are leaving this era behind. We've seen the nasty Balenciaga ad scandal, and of course Balenciaga asked for forgiveness, apologized, but I believe it's too late for this company. In May, we discussed the transition from our current Web 2.0 era to the new version of the web, Web 3.0, and its implications in marketing and business. And so the early days of Web 1.0, the first version of the web, was an open source web. Anyone could build upon it. Personal web pages, static pages, SSI, Common Gateway Interface, HTML elements, HTML extensions, online guestbooks, GIF buttons, HTML forms, via email, and so much more. Dial-up. The most important thing was information that was finally available to everyone. And this detail alone changed our lives forever. We could find information without having to travel and spend money, and we started learning new things. Do you remember all Yahoo, MSN, and those other platforms where you could play games? There were chat rooms, sites full of text. Brands started spending money on advertising, and these brands were dominating the markets. Eventually, more and more people got connected online. More and more brands expanded their operations online because they saw the opportunity, and a new version was needed. And so we moved to the current Web 2.0 era, also known as the web as platform, or participative web, or social web, or read-write web. We had Netscape, web browsers, social media like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, Pinterest, and more. People with no technical skills could build their own web pages and blogs with platforms like WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, or online stores with platforms like Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, and Magento. They could comment on other sites, create user accounts and profiles, share videos, images, and stories, buy and sell things, entertain, educate themselves, everything according to the characteristics were rich user experiences, user participation, dynamic content, metadata, web standards, and scalability, openness, freedom, collective intelligence, and more. We had the big tech companies, Alphabet, Google, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Facebook, and Microsoft, dominant players in their respective areas of technology, e-commerce, online advertising, consumer electronics, cloud computing, computer software, media streaming, artificial intelligence, smart home, self-driving cars, and social networking. They have been among the most valuable public companies globally, and they took advantage of Web 1.0 open source code and build new systems, securing and protecting their technologies and outpacing the capabilities of open protocols. And we moved from the open source web to a closed source web with data being centralized. And this is where problems started appearing in the market. The tech giants started offering advertising, and as more and more companies started competing for search engine rankings and social media exposure, and as big tech companies were changing and altering their algorithms at a fast pace, we witnessed the rise of advertising costs and a decline in the effectiveness of those advertisements. Bad user experiences, retargeting ads, and data became the most valuable resource. But having all this data stored in centralized servers was actually a target, and a dance of data breaches had unfolded. The Equifax data breach, Facebook breaches, Google breaches, and so users started gaining more control of their private data, GDPR, CCPA, and the latest iOS updates. And so we had to deal with censorship, another huge problem during the latest pandemic. And so it began a war between Russian authorities and social media platforms and search engines like Google and Facebook. The social media world was shaking. That's another article we'll go through. We witnessed problems with trademark works in advertising. We had to deal with cryptocurrency crimes and cyber crimes and other crimes like malware, debit or credit card frauds, data breaches, compromised passwords, unauthorized mail and social media access, phishing, harassment, ransomware, prostitution, child pornography and solicitation, human trafficking, intellectual property theft, account hacking, drug trafficking, and more. Not a safe place to do business. More than 143 million Americans affected by cybercrime. And so a shift was inevitable, and we are moving now toward the Web 3.0 era, also known as Web 3. And the key concept is decentralized finance. Users exchange currency without banks or government involvement. It's an operation to give control back to the users instead of giant impersonal corporations. It's all about decentralizing the web. It's important to build our own platforms, We witness the rise of blockchain technology, a type of shared database that differs from a typical database in the way that it stores information. Blockchain stores data in blocks that are then linked together via cryptography. And all these industries can benefit from blockchain: banking and finance, currencies, healthcare, property records, smart contracts, supply chains, voting, insurances, stock trading, governments, non-profit, Internet of Things, real estate, education, automotive, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, supply chain and management, advertising, and many more. Crypto networks took the world by storm, and we witnessed the rise of quantum technology, an emerging field of physics and engineering, encompassing technologies that rely on the properties of quantum mechanics. And so we are moving toward the new version of the web. Web 3.0, we are moving toward first-party data and second-party data, away from third-party data. And we have another player, zero-party data, where is data that potential customers share intentionally, deliberately, proactively, and consciously with brands. And I published an article that discusses all the types of data: zero-party, first-party, second-party, and third-party data. In March, we discussed that the social media world is shaking, and it's still shaking because of what's happening in the politics, in the economy, in the science. Everything affects social media, and this actually dates back 2 years ago when they declared a worldwide pandemic situation. And so people have been locked down, and due to these lockdowns, more and more people start using social media platforms. And we witnessed the rise of video communication platforms like Zoom or Skype, and the rise of social audio platforms as well. And due to the military operations in Ukraine, many things happened that affected the social media world. So let's see what happened in the social media world in 2022. So after the invasion of Ukraine, European countries and the United States started applying economic sanctions against Russia and against Russian companies and Russian billionaires all around the world, and trading between many countries has been interrupted. And Russia proceeded with some actions. For example, President Putin signed a new law that threatens up to 15 years in jail for Russians who post fake news about the invasion. NetBlocks metrics confirmed the restriction of Instagram in Russia. Russian authorities called for Facebook parent Meta to be labeled an extremist organization. NDTV reported that Russian regulators on Friday accused US tech giant Google and YouTube of terrorist activities. Meta platforms will allow Facebook and Instagram users in some countries to call for violence against Russians and Russian soldiers. And SpaceX founder and CEO Elon Musk announced that the company Starlink satellite internet service had expanded coverage to Ukraine. And Starlink has been told by some governments, not Ukraine, to block Russian news sources. But Elon said that we will not do so unless at gunpoint. Sorry to be a free speech absolutist. And then we'll discuss what happens with Elon Musk and the acquisition of Twitter that happened in October, but the whole thing started in March or April, I believe. And BBC announced which companies are pulling out of Russia. So we had McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Starbucks, Heineken, retail giants like L'Oreal, Estée Lauder, Samsung, Apple, consultancy firms, oil and gas firms, entertainment companies like Netflix, payment giants like Visa, MasterCard, American Express, car makers like General Motors, and many more. And here's what happens. These companies that pulled out of Russia lost a huge share of them in the marketplace. And in recent months, we've seen Facebook laying off 10,000 and more employees, Twitter following same pattern with Elon Musk taking over as a captain, as a chief, and many other companies laid off employees. And here's what happens. These companies that are pulling out of Russia will have a hard time surviving, and European countries that applied sanctions against Russia literally are moving toward the death of European Union, because European countries are dependent on Russia oil and gas, and so it was a bad decision to apply these sanctions. And let's see what else happened. Donald Trump announced the opening of a new social platform, Truth Social, because his account, he lost his accounts on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and maybe other platforms as well, and so he decided to create a new social platform that promises free speech, encourages free speech without discriminated against political ideology. And let's see, and so we witnessed that the rise of the application of Truth Social. Facebook started losing value in the stock market. The Verge reported that Facebook, we had an outage, we had a 6-hour outage with Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp and Oculus on October 2021, and there are rumors that Facebook's administration faced some serious changes. Okay, so let's discuss Elon Musk and Twitter a little bit. And as I said many times, Twitter was a derailed platform, too much censorship, inappropriate content, pornographic content, and many other problems as well. And so Elon wanted to buy Twitter to solve these problems and free this platform from the control of governmental entities and organizations in the United States. And so when he took over, he laid off employees and executives like Vijay Gandhi, the one responsible for banning Trump's account, and lately he started releasing the Twitter files exposing the censorship that happened on this platform and the control of the government. And so this is a very interesting article in Epoch Times discussing Elon Musk and corporate journalism. And say Elon Musk has criticized mainstream media outlets over their coverage of the so-called Twitter files. Why is corporate journalism rushing to defend the state instead of the people? Musk wrote on Twitter, December 27th, in response to a tweet from journalist and documentary filmmaker Leighton Woodhouse. The latter was sharing his new Substack post about how corporate media rush to defend the FBI and the state instead of exposing them. The Hunter Biden laptop story shows the extent to which the corporate media has become the propaganda arm of the state, Woodhouse wrote in his Substack. And later, Elon expressed interest in buying Substack, and said Twitter plus Substack creates instantly massive competition for obsolete legacy corporate media. Reputation and Musk wrote, the legacy media should worry about its reputation. We have only just begun, said Musk again. And Musk has promised, as I said, to promote free speech after acquiring Twitter, and his decision to release the company's internal documents is tied to this promise. The Twitter files on free speech suppression should be released on Twitter itself. The public deserves to know what really happened, Musk wrote on Twitter December 28th, just days before the first batch of the Twitter files was released by independent journalist Matt Taibbi. And so we are going to witness many changes going forward on Twitter, so be there, join me on Twitter, and let's see what Musk has what Musk is preparing, what will happen with Twitter files. So now let's see what else we discussed on the blog in 2022. I shared with you a powerful free sales funnel 11-step template that you could use to model Jeff Walker's product launch formula system, a unique system to launch your products by creating anticipation and buzz. Thousands of businesses use Jeff Walker's system, and Systeme, an advertising network, a sales funnel builder. It's a platform where you can automate big parts of your marketing. These are the free funnel template to use with Jeff Walker's system. I also shared with you an incredible book on leadership by Mark Miller with more than 1 million books in print in 25 languages. Mark is a legend in leadership. And we also gone through the uncensored crypto documentary, a very powerful documentary in the world of crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and NFTs and gaming crypto markets. But the thing is that during this documentary, cryptocurrencies have been going down, and throughout 2022 there has been a decline in major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I believe these cryptocurrencies are going away, and only a few cryptocurrencies, those currencies that are backed with precious metals and gold, will stay in the market. We also discussed top local SEO link building strategies with Rue Witsekuntunga. We discussed the importance of social emotional learning with At-Risk Students by Angela Baker. We discussed top crypto coins, philosophies and events, the ultimate guide to use an iPad survey to grow your business with Archie Jane. We discussed rookie social media mistakes that startups should avoid, 10 must follow local SEO tips, 5 reasons to go 5G for communist transformation. I introduce you to the 7 ideals main framework and the principles of the methodology. We discussed ways to unify your business communications. I shared with you 5 free presentation templates. I shared with you a detailed guide to increasing sales with webinars by Dan Oraliz. We discussed Tricia Brook, an award-winning director and former executive producer of 10 Lincoln Square, organizing a 2-day live masterclass, The Art of a Bit Talk, all about public speaking business. And I shared with you a comprehensive guide on how to start a public speaking business from scratch. I shared with you Gina Gabellini's powerful quiz, the client attraction superpower quiz. We discussed how to move your business to a new location. I shared with you the 7 ideal story. It was an overview, and now during my upcoming webinar, I'll be sharing the whole story, and I'll be sharing case studies as well. And we discussed Tricia Brooks, the Big Academy, her flagship training program. We discussed Gina Gabellini's The Mullah Zone, and we watched another epic documentary by Reveal Films, the Endgame series, and with interviews from 30 plus world-renowned experts from various industries and sectors that reveal the whole truth to help us prepare for the future in the upcoming economic collapse. And an economic collapse is on the brinks. It's going to happen. The stock market is collapsing. We just don't know when, but it's something that is going to happen for sure, and that's a good thing. Don't worry at all. We discussed Gina Gabellini's The Breakthrough to Mega Clients, a monumental live stream event. We discussed the social media world that was shaking. We've gone through this article in this video as well. We discussed CBDCs that are going to end fiat money and its implications in marketing, and that's a good thing because fiat money is going away, fake money is going away, and so only money with gold standards and precious metals will be used for our transactions. This is a healthier ecosystem, economic system. I shared with you an interview with Lee Whaley. It's an American veteran that I'm helping to build his coaching business. We discussed quantum computing and David Strait, a message mentioning that all banks switching to the quantum financial system. We discussed Elon Musk and Twitter since April, and I published various articles. We discussed NASA and quantum communications tech. We discussed ways to that customer education can help your business with Kyriaki Raouna. We discussed data visualization tools for amazing results. We discussed the Web 3.0, the transition into the new version of the web and its implications in marketing and business. We've gone through another epic documentary by Revealed Films, The Money Revealed. interviews with 36 plus top wealth experts, millionaires and avid investors, creative entrepreneurs, and how to prepare for the upcoming economic collapse. We discussed zero party, first party, second party, and third party data, and we've gone through the Live XP funnel documentary, various guides and webinars. We discussed the Time to Thrive challenge in August, all about the knowledge industry, the self-education industry with Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins. And I walked you through the self-education industry documentary, a 5-part documentary, almost 10 hours long. And I walked you through the 7 Ideals Knowledge ID framework as well. We discussed 9/11 impact on the economy, business and marketing. If you should run your company with a partner. Another episode of the Quick Marketing and Business Tips series. We discussed how to launch your products like a pro using Jeff Walker's system or the 7 Ideals methodology and the next level launch model. Again, we discussed Elon Musk and Twitter. I published a new podcast episode in Greek all about the new quantum era. I shared with you some amazing Black Friday and Cyber Monday offers. We discussed the quantum we discussed the quantum financial system. It was another video near the end of the year. Of course, we are discussing the news on a daily basis. And so I believe this happened on the blog. And now let's move forward to some other news as well. We also watched many companies, especially food processing plants, on fire in 2022 and in 2021. And that's another huge event that shows that something is happening in the background. And I believe that they are targeting companies that don't produce healthy food. The reasons will be revealed, I believe, very, very soon. And we've also seen Xi Jinping fighting corruption in China, and this process started in 2012. And this year, we've seen so many actions by Xi Jinping, and this anti-corruption campaign affects the whole globe. Another huge event in Brazil. Not a long time ago, we've seen people rioting after a stolen, rigged election, and we had a total media blackout in Brazil. We've seen drug cartels taking it down in many countries. Europol was very active in 2022. Another huge event, we've seen Nicaragua cancelling nearly 200 NGOs in sweeping purge of civil society, and non-governmental organizations dissolved by Ortega regime include an equestrian center and language academy. And this is an action that is going to be copied in other countries of the world, in all the countries of the world as well. We've seen Queen Elizabeth dying in September 8th. Another huge event, we've seen Pope Benedict dying in Vatican, aged 95. That's very interesting. I wanted to discuss a list created by Forbes in New Year's Eve, the billionaires who died in 2022, a list of 26 billionaires, including tycoons who made their fortune in everything from real estate and hedge funds to orange juice and Red Bull. And so in 2021 we had all these CEOs of giant corporations, thousands of them, resigning or leaving their companies. And now we've seen billionaires dying. I don't know if these incidents are correlated, but there is something going on in the background. These things don't happen just like that. in just 1 year, having all these billionaires dying. And so it's food for thought. And so many other people that died in 2022, and there is a list by ABC News, notable people who died in 2022, all these big names. And another unpleasant list, stars and celebrities we've lost in 2022, and there are 232 names. I believe something is happening. More than one coincidence is considered a miracle. So these deaths, I believe, are correlated somehow. Maybe not all of them, but many of them have a connection, somehow a connection. And soon, I believe, we'll discover why this is happening. We've seen numerous concerts and festivals being cancelled in 2022. There is a big list. And another unpleasant list, sports deaths in 2022. All the athletes and coaches who have died this year. And that's a very big list. Great. So we discussed so much about the economy, business, marketing, and the politics. And so let's wrap it up and let's forecast what's going to happen. Let's make our predictions for the year ahead. And if I could summarize it, just one sentence, I would say that 2023 will be the year of revelations, dismantling of corruption, and the liberation of the truth. So 2023 is the year of big revelations, the year of the apocalypse. We are living in a decayed world full of corruption at all levels and institutions. All the sectors of the economy and all industries are corrupted to the bone. Corruption goes so deep beyond the economy and the sciences, and it goes way back in time, thousands of years. And so, in order to move forward, we need to leave this world behind. And to do that successfully, so we don't have to repeat this painful process, we need to expose the truth and see with our eyes the size of decadence. We need to accept the truth when it will be revealed, and then we'll have our chance to improve and make this world a better place. So my predictions for 2023 and beyond. We are going to see way more political scandals. Way more politicians are going to be exposed for what they are, corrupted. And maybe we are going to see many of them getting punished or having their assets and bank accounts frozen like Eva Kaili. And we are going to see way more business scandals and economic scandals as well. And I believe it's time for justice to be served. And it's also the year when the truth will be revealed about the role of news media, the role of governments, the role of institutions. And it's also the year when the truth will be revealed about the COVID pandemic that started in 2019 and changed our lives forever. 2023, it's also the year when BRICS, the economic union of BRICS, will grow and more countries will join BRICS in order to be supported financially, and the International Monetary Fund we have no reason to exist. And I believe very, very soon, in February or in March, we are going to see the European Union fall. And already Hungary stated that they are leaving European Union behind, and more countries will copy this action, and we are going to see the European Union collapsing. And it's an institution, it's an organization that does not serve anyone, any country. It's only a problem. It only gives problems, issues and pain to the people. 2023 is also the year when central banks will back up their currencies with gold and precious metals, and so fiat money goes away. And fiat money was a pain, was a nightmare for humanity. It actually enslaved us. And when they removed gold standard, they could print as much money as they wanted to, and they could print money out of thin air, and this led us to where we are now, living in a decayed and corrupted world. It's also the year when the stock market crash will happen. And so we are going to see many companies, huge corporations going down. We are going to see many big tech companies going down. We are going to see many social media companies going down, and many big pharma companies going down. And so this is how corruption will be exposed, and people will start understanding what was happening all those years in the markets. And it's also the year when cryptocurrencies will go down, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and only cryptos that are backed with gold and precious metals will have a place in this new economic era. And so it's an era with new technologies, quantum computing, quantum technologies, and the quantum financial system. And the quantum financial system is set to eliminate corruption and deceit. And so this is how we are going to move forward and leave this bad world behind. And we are also going to witness the rise of the Stellar Network and the Ripple platform, XLM and XRP. And we are going to change the way we are making transactions online and offline as well. And now, in the world of marketing, companies that will thrive are those that will focus on their customers, on their prospects. It's all about user experience. It's about interacting with customers, caring about them, asking questions, connecting with them on a deep emotional level, and providing high quality products, unparalleled customer service, superior live experiences and live events. It's also about self-education and learning from experienced people. It's all about product launches that create anticipation and buzz. It's about collecting and using zero and first-party data on our own platforms and building our email list, building trust and authority in the market. And it's also about different strategies for advertisements, because the new version of the web gives more control to users and over their privacy and their data. And it's also about less automation and becoming more personal. And so we are so prepared. And with that said, I want to invite you to test drive my marketing methodology, the 7 Ideals. And we are opening up a beta group this month for brands that want to test drive the method. So it's a huge opportunity for you to get in now and get access to some incredible bonuses and perks for our subscribers. And it's a value-driven, customer-centric strategy that will help you impact the world, make a difference, and do business only with your right fit, ideal, best clients, and repel those that you don't want to do business with. And so that's it. I want to wish you first, thanks so much for staying with me, for listening and watching, and I want to wish you a happy, prosperous and healthy 2023. Take care.